In procedure 4.3, you are going to determine the optimum wavelength for monitoring tyrosinase activity. To do this, you will prepare a cuvette that has 900 microliters of buffer, 150 microliters of DOPA, and 150 microliters of the tyrosinase enzyme. You will allow this reaction to proceed for 5 minutes. In the end, you should see a solution that has a light orange color. You'll want to place this cuvette into the chamber, which is what I'm doing right now, and then you will press the collect button here. And you should see something that looks like this. This is a full spectrum graph of the solution. You then click stop. And I like to click here auto scale graph. So then this gives me a closer look at what's going on. So you can see that we have blue wavelengths of light where we have absorbance, high absorbance. And here we can see that we have lower amounts of absorbance in the red area here of visible wavelength. So again, if we look at this graph, on the y-axis we have absorbance, which ranges from more or less 0 to 0.7. And here on the x-axis we have wavelengths of light, which goes from 400 nanometers up to about 800 nanometers here. And just looking at this absorption spectrum here, we can see that there is maximum absorbance in the blue wavelengths of light. So now I am going to click on experiment and then store latest run. Okay, so I'm now ready to collect data. Since I've determined the absorption spectrum for dopachrome, I'm ready to collect data. And to do that, I will click on this box right here. Okay, and we can see if we click on absorbance versus time, it will tell us the wavelength of light where we see peak absorbance, which should be in here somewhere. There it is. So for my solution here, peak absorbance is around 426 nanometers. Logger Pro will select this wavelength for you. Your wavelength is going to be different than mine, just depending on your reaction. It should be close, but it will be slightly different. Okay, so I'm going to click OK now. And you can see here a box pops up where on the x-axis we have time now, which ranges from 0 to 200. And on the y-axis we have absorbance at 426 nanometers, which is that peak absorbance, the maximum absorbance. And so that's the wavelength at which we will monitor the rate of the reaction. And we've determined this wavelength by looking at the absorption spectrum for dopachrome.